Welcome back. All right, so it's just about that time. Families are getting in that mode. It's back to school time, and we know how important it is to make sure that our kids' mental health is okay to start the school year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we're going to discuss with Dr. Abigail Talley with UT Health San Antonio. She's a child and adult psychiatrist. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. I'm so pleased to be here.
You know, there's a lot going on right now, a lot going on in the world. Back to school time is upon us. What should parents focus on right now?
So with going back to school, there's always been back to school jitters, right? That kind of the anticipatory anxiety of going back to school. And so what I tell parents is make sure that you have certain things in mind when you're discussing going back to school and the emotions that can come up. First of all, be optimistic about it. So make sure that they know that if these emotions come up, if kiddos get anxious about this, that this is a problem that's manageable. I also tell parents, be empathic. Some of the fears and some of the worries are going to seem a little bit illogical, and that's okay. We have to put ourselves in our children's shoes and kind of think of what it was like to be a child at that time. And then I also tell parents to destigmatize it. So that means make sure that your child knows that their worries, their anxieties, their fears are not a disappointment to you and are in no way making you feel upset, angry, uncomfortable.
Yeah, nor are they the only ones having these feelings.
Absolutely, absolutely. These are a very widely spread and widely held fear.
So back to school jitters. I mean, we even remember we'd get nervous like the day before. It'd be hard to go to bed and get adequate sleep because you were nervous about seeing your friends and getting into that mode again. That's always been a thing, but now it seems to be more intense since the pandemic.
Yes, I think that's actually kind of been a rising trend. A lot of times kiddos are more used to having school at home, homebound school. And so maybe there's a little bit more anxiety now when we're going back to an actual brick and mortar school.
A lot of this is being involved with your kids, talking to your kids. How do we break the ice? What do we need to be asking our children when it comes to school or the anxieties that they feel, things like that?
I think that's where those kind of key points come in that I talked about briefly. Make sure you open up the conversation. You want your child to know that it's okay to talk about feelings with you. And sometimes it's nice to also give them some tips and tricks. You can also say, hey, sometimes I use these myself, and this might help you when you're starting your first day of school. Things like deep breathing exercises, sometimes progressive muscle relaxation. I'll always go through those techniques with my children when I see them in therapy cases.
Is it also letting them know that not to discount what they're feeling, I guess, as a parent? Like if somebody says, you know, I think the sky's going to fall, not to say that's never going to happen, but just to talk through it?
Absolutely, that empathic piece of it. Put yourself back in their shoes, maybe when you were their age and what fears you had.
Could we talk about that, the difference? Because there's always a generational divide, right, when parents speak with their children, because we do have different concerns. We have the internet, we have social media, we have all of that stuff. If you could talk to parents and say, consider this, what are some things that you hear directly from children that you want parents to think about when they speak to their children?
Wonderful. Yes. So we know that generational changes occur, but we do know that there's certain normative fears that children go through, and it's a pattern that we've seen throughout time. We know that as babies and younger children, we worry about separation anxiety. We know that as we get to more of a school age, we start to worry about things like natural disasters. And then we get to the 6-year-olds and up, and we start to have those fears about school, peer rejection, all of those fears. And so that's something that I would want parents to keep in mind is remember that this is a spectrum that is it's a normal process as a child goes through life. And there is no life free from anxiety. You
know, you talked about stigma, and there's even a stigma around getting help. I mean, I always tell people the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. And so do you have to battle that too with both parents and kids, knowing that somebody comes to talk to you?
Absolutely. I think that whenever we're talking with our children, we're also dealing with our own kind of thoughts or feelings about what we're discussing. And if we ourselves deal with anxiety, when we're talking about our child anxiety, that's going to come up. Those feelings are going to come up.
But at what point do you say, okay, we need to seek professional help?
That's a great question. So there are certain things that I tell parents to look out for. First of all, changes in sleeping pattern. Now there's always that right before school, that night before. kiddos are going to have a hard time falling asleep, right? But if a child is having a really hard time, like several hours trying to go to sleep every night, or waking up in the middle of the night and coming and waking you up, that's one thing to look out for. If they're talking about the stressor, about going back to school, a significant amount, like there's a huge uptick in the amount of time they're spending talking about it, that means that's a window into their internal world. They're thinking about it a lot. We need to watch out for that too. If they start to withdraw from family and friends or activities that they liked to do, or they just don't seem quite as talkative, we need to keep an eye out for that. And if it gets severe, it might be time to bring kiddo in for a little bit of extra help. And also if there's any huge behavioral changes, that's sometimes when we need to escalate and ask for some more professional help.
You know, I appreciate you coming on here because those are such valuable tips, I think, for both parents and children at home. And we're going to continue this conversation. It doesn't end right here. We actually have a live stream with Myra Arthur that's going to come up at 7 o'clock, back to school, nurturing minds as we go back to school. We have a full panel. Some of them in the newsroom, in the studio with us right now. And so I'm excited about what we are offering tonight. A chance to answer some of your questions and maybe put aside some of the anxieties when it comes to going back to school.
Yeah, because it's not just kids, it's also parents, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're doing a good job with your kids. And the live, the town hall is something that we're going to be streaming on all of our platforms, and it's going to start at 7 p.m. But we still have plenty of news here on the 6 o'clock. So join us back after the break.
Dr. Talley, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.